10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Roll
5,
B.
4, 3.
Tonight on Metro News.
We look at why dairy products are so expensive.
We speak to New Zealand triathlete Andrea Hansen.
And a new electric car is launched at Canterbury University. Talofa lava o te tahi.
Welcome to Metro News, a program brought to you by the students of the New Zealand Broadcasting School. Are you one of those people who think we pay too much for milk, butter and cheese? Well, spare a thought for the dairy farmers, as I discover some are finding it tough as well. When you think dairy prices, most of us think about the cost of milk and cheese.
Well, for a country full of flipping cows that give lots of greenhouse gases, I think milk's expensive and cheese is worse.
I think it's absolutely disgusting. I'm certainly not buying as much as I used to.
And prices are likely to stay high. Fonterra's latest forecast is $9 for a kilogram of milk solids. While dairy farmers are happy, they don't want it to drop any further.
Same payouts predicted at $7 at the beginning, end up at $3.80, so we do always take them with a grain of salt.
He says prices for essential goods like diesel, fertiliser and feed are increasing.
Yeah, I would say the costs are proportionally higher than what they've ever been in the past. When the Fonterra pricing does come out, we reset our budgets, but at this stage of the season it's always on a air of caution, given the large ability for it to change.
Fonterra says we are operating in an increasingly volatile global environment and are managing a wider range of risks than usual. And experts say it's affecting prices.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine has disrupted a lot of agricultural commodities, as they're both big producers of wheat and some other really key agricultural goods.
There's a lot of uncertainty. If the war in Russia and Ukraine ended tomorrow, would that affect things majorly? It may do.
Now, milk prices are notoriously volatile. They're subject to what people are willing to pay on the world markets. So that means when there's a war on the other side of the world, that affects your cheese price. So with world issues and environmental costs weighing on the farmer, it begs the question, is all this worth it?
So depending on whether you think input costs will rise, some of those issues we talked about before with COVID-19 should be getting better as shipping capacity increases.
We don't farm for the money, we farm because we enjoy it. We've been through the highs and we've been through the lows, and we're still here.
Carl knows the only constant on the farm is change. Jordan Dunn, Metro News.
Each year, more than 3,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer. To help them, pink ribbon breakfasts are held all around the country, and the money they raise is vital. Ruby Turnbull is covering the story and joins us now. Ruby.
Breast cancer is the most common form of cancer to affect New Zealand women. 1 in 9 are diagnosed each year and 650 will die. But it's not only women. 20 men are affected each year as well. The Breast Cancer Foundation stresses the importance of regular mammograms and also appreciates the fundraising efforts by the community. About 100 people here at Riverside Market for a pink ribbon breakfast.
So this is the second year we've held one, and last year was such a great success for the fundraising that we decided we'd do it again and aim for a higher amount this year.
She says there are half the number of fundraising breakfasts around the country due to COVID, so every dollar they raise is important.
We're hoping we've raised $5,000.
Many of the people here, both men and women, want to show their support.
We need more education and we need more funding to help in this beautiful charity, and it's all about raising awareness.
Diagnosed with stage 3 cancer 2 years ago, Leanne Murray's a survivor.
I have had an emergency C-section, 6 months of chemotherapy, a mastectomy, I've had my tubes and ovaries removed, and then I've also had a mastectomy on the other side. At my breakfast last weekend there was about 190 ladies, so between that and the online stuff and very generous ladies here, I've now raised about $11,000. So since I've been diagnosed, it's around 24,000.
50,000 women are still waiting for their mammograms, so they need a major investment from government.
The government needs to fork out some money to get this backlog of 50,000 missed mammograms, but also I think that we need to sort of start making people more aware.
Organisers are hoping government will join the Pink Party and there'll be plenty more breakfasts to come. The Breast Cancer Foundation says the money will go towards education, research, advocacy and support, and those going through surgery will get physio sessions, free counselling and items to make them more comfortable. To do all this, they need all the financial support they can get.
Thank you, Ruby. On the topic of fundraisers, it's 3 months since Russia invaded Ukraine, and filmmakers want to make sure those affected are not forgotten. A special movie night has showcased the country and raised funds at the same time. I went along to speak to those involved.
Passionate moviegoers enjoying a night out in the city. They're here to watch stories made by Ukrainians, people who want audiences around the world to see them.
And tonight we are having a screening of Ukrainian short films to raise funding for the Kyiv International Short Film Festival to distribute on the ground in Ukraine at the moment for the current situation over there.
More than a month has passed since the beginning of a full-scale war in Ukraine. The people here tonight want to make sure that is not forgotten. The movies tonight are made by top Ukrainian filmmakers, a celebration of their rich culture. The funds raised tonight will go towards the many humanitarian needs that the country faces right now.
It's a monthly event showcasing different cultures.
I think it's very interesting to see short films from Ukraine, because when else would you ever see a collection of short films randomly from Ukraine? So it's quite nice, and I think it's a great thing that Show Me Shorts provides, is this opportunity for people to get together.
For some, it was a taste of home.
My grand just arrived from Ukraine about 2.5 weeks ago. So for her it was kind of after 2.5 weeks watching TV in English to watch something in her own language. So it was quite nice.
The movies highlighted the ripple effects of war.
I mean, the films are a little bit depressing, but they're kind of real in the worst sense now.
I just thought it was a great little snapshot of, these little glimpses of life that you haven't really seen before, I guess.
Next month, the short films will be from Norway, a window on another world. Caitlin Clark, Metro News.
40-year-old triathlete Andrea Hansen is going for gold. Just 15 months after giving birth, the Christchurch athlete has her sights set on the Birmingham Commonwealth Games. Our reporter Cameron Joe catches up with her.
She's up and fit, ready to get back on the world stage. Triathlete Andrea Hansen's preparing to take on the best, but this time round, her new family will be on the sidelines.
Yeah, well, it feels different to be back. A lot has happened in the last 4 years. I got married, changed my name, so I was Andrea Hewitt at the last Commonwealth Games, now Andrea Hansen, and I had a baby, so that's the biggest change. Flossie's 15 months old now.
Giving birth didn't stop the grind.
15 months ago, I was completely different to who I am now, and I've just taken my time. Long haul travel is going to be a bit of a change with Flossie. She hasn't been overseas yet, so it's all being new.
This is going to be Hansen's 4th Commonwealth Games. The Melbourne Games in 2006 saw her winning a bronze medal for the individual women's triathlon. And in Gold Coast, just 4 years ago, she achieved another 3rd placing in the mixed team relay.
Andrea's like a diesel engine with a turbo. She just keeps going all the time. What we've been trying to get her to go that little bit faster to help her at the start of the race, so she can get out, and once she's out there, she can just hang on forever.
Hansen's hoping to build on her successes, competing in the World Triathlon Series before heading to the Games.
I mean, my fitness is getting better and better every week. I can feel it. So I'm really looking forward to competing and doing the best I can, and hopefully bringing home another medal for New Zealand.
Hansen will race at the Games in late July, striving to make her family in Aotearoa proud. Cameron Joe, Metro News.
Coming up next, New virtual reality technology has landed in Ototahi, and we look at how the Christchurch Duathlon is encouraging people to get active.
Hey, welcome. This is where the real magic happens. Go on in. My first thing that I do in the day is go to a meeting held by the production team. Then after that I try and grab Daniel, the producer, because I have to look at straps for the opening throw and ad breaks, get them to Jamie and graphics, who's an absolute king. I love Jamie. Also in the morning I have to try and get all the times ready for the stories that are airing, and I have to know which stories are being aired that day. I also spend a lot of time with my editors, just making sure their workload isn't too big. I spend time with the camera operators as well, just so they can ingest, make sure all the footage is there so the journos can look at their projects and organise them. I do a lot of running around, as most people in the building will see. I like running around just fixing problems with technology, and if I can't do that, that's when Paul and Mason come into play because they're much smarter than me. Hi, my name is Alex and I'm the post-production supervisor for Metro News 2022.
Welcome back. Move over Meccano, Canterbury University's motorsport team have finished building their fastest electric race car yet. Archie Milligan finds out what it takes to turn a vision into reality.
The big reveal to celebrate a job well done. The UCM 21 is the latest race car produced by the team.
I mean, it's my pride and joy. It's what I've basically invested my whole life into for the last 18 months.
It's taken 60 square metres of carbon fibre and took well over 10,000 hours to build.
Probably 70 or 80 hour weeks for the whole year, just around coursework. And so it was a lot of dedication from a lot of people.
It's embarrassing to say, to be honest, but it's thousands and thousands of hours which have been put into this car by fourth years to first years to volunteers to students from every type of degree. There's business students, there's engineering students, and there's science students. It's a full range that get involved.
Unlike some of the previous cars that use petrol engines, the new car is fully electric.
Electric cars obviously got to be batteries, and they take up a lot of space and they're really heavy.
The car will compete in the Formula Student competition in Victoria over the Christmas break.
It really puts us with a different technical aspect to compete against our competitors with a little edge that might just help us win this year's competition.
Keeping the car cool in the hot Aussie summers was a big focus for the team. To achieve this, they've added a new front and rear wing, as well as a bunch of other features to keep air flowing through the vehicle. And are they ready?
It's pretty quick. So obviously with an electric powertrain, it's instantaneous torque. So it just sort of picks right off the line.
100%. I can't wait to see what this does at competition at the end of the year.
The next job, finding a driver to make this little red bullet win across the ditch. Archie Milligan, Metro News.
You've probably never heard of a Nova Motion Simulator, but we've got one here in Christchurch. And for virtual reality enthusiasts, it's the talk of the town. Thomas Rice has been checking it out and joins us now. Thomas.
The Nova is currently being kept at the Human Interface Lab within the University of Canterbury. Since getting it, the team have been running tests to see what it does well and what it doesn't. And after about 6 months, they found that the Nova is great for games, but it's also great for training drivers and pilots. Wellington company 8360 have created the next step in virtual reality technology. It looks like a moon landing craft, is called the Nova, and the team at the HIT Lab at Canterbury University have bought one for themselves.
So the Nova ball is a self-contained virtual reality unit that is encased in a big ball that spins in 360 degrees.
You don't need a spacesuit for this. The Nova contains a harnessed seat, a VR headset, and a steering wheel or centre stick. It's like driving a car or flying a plane.
You really feel like you are laying on your back looking up, or that you're rotating around. It's just very realistic.
The Nova's a motion simulator, but what's it used for?
So we think of this as part of our tool belt. Someone comes to us with a problem, for instance, on a ship that requires some sort of motion.
So our first demo we worked on was a kind of a simple premise.
It's a ball turret game, and that way we're using the full rotation of the ball in the sim and VR.
The Nova isn't just for those keen gamers. It's currently being used by the New Zealand Defence Force as a training tool. Mark Badley from Joint Defence Services told me that initial feedback had been positive and that driving military vehicles inside of the Nova is providing them with a realistic experience.
Providing the brain or the body with as much accurate stimuli that it would get in the real world can be very beneficial to training.
Above all things, the team is impressed with the Nova's origins.
It's pretty amazing to have it built in New Zealand, and we're really proud that we have one here.
The Nova's capabilities will continue to grow, and you can be sure the HIT Lab will be at the forefront of it all. Now, Ryan has been adding the finishing touches to a VR robot game that allows players to scale up walls and hang off ceilings. Those who have had a go say it produces some stomach-churning moments. Long term, he says he's unsure of the lab's future endeavours with the Nova, but with the power of VR, the possibilities are endless.
Thanks, Thomas. Cantabrians are being encouraged to get out and give it a go. COVID has caused havoc with sporting events over the last few years, but as Mackenzie Jennings reports, things are now getting back on track.
An event well trained for. This year's Canterbury Duathlon Series has something for everyone.
There's long course and short course, so from the individuals to teams, and from just the little kiddies, so 5 is the minimum of age, and we've got some people who are in their 70s doing it also.
Including Shirley, who's been competing in events for more than 20 years.
When you're a grandmother age 73, you like to have a little bit of fun, so at a duathlon I will put on my Thing 1 and Thing 2 Dr. Seuss shirt, but at a marathon I'll put on my Wonder Woman outfit, so the kids will say, "Oh, there's Wonder Gran."
COVID hasn't made it all that easy.
Certainly numbers are down, and then you have people that enter and then they get COVID, so then they're pulling out.
And some athletes are ready to kickstart the competitions again.
You edit all sorts of events and then you find they're cancelled, so you might be able to actually participate in 1 out of 4 that you've entered.
All to feel the relief of crossing that finish line. Blood, sweat and tears gone into a successful race for many.
No wind, good conditions for biking. So
it's quite a nice day as well.
And how rewarding does it feel to cross that finish line?
Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty good. He beat me though, so.
Yeah. Organisers hope to see more turnout in the future.
Keep in touch with them, and it's all we can do really, and keep putting on events.
A positive outlook as everyone tries to get back to normal. Mackenzie Jennings, Metro News.
And now for the weather. It was a wet start for Ototahi this morning, but the day dried up, reaching a high of 12, and it's going to stay around 12 degrees overnight. Tomorrow we'll be greeted with a sunny high of 19. That's all for Metro News tonight.
For those stories and more, head over to our website, metronews.co.nz. You can also find us on YouTube and Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
We'll be back with more tomorrow. Call Jordan Dunn, aho.
Call Caitlin Clark, aho. Thanks for joining us.
Ka kite anō.